Since the beginning of time, human beings have stood in silence beneath the vast sky and asked the same question. What does it all mean? Long before cities, before machines, before names were carved into history, there was the sky. Untouched, unbroken, infinite. And we, small yet curious, would lift our eyes in awe. The sky was not just the ceiling of our world. It was a symbol of something beyond, something divine. It moved with mystery, it held light and darkness, it whispered of storms and offered the stillness of stars. Yet very few understood the sacred truth it carried, a truth not written in books, but engraved in silence. The sky does not just exist, it responds. The sky is not just above you, the sky is within you. It is not merely an object of weather and wonder, it is a mirror that reflects what most refuse to see, the state of your inner world. When you look up and see a heavy sky, gray and swollen, ask yourself, is it the sky that is heavy, or is it my spirit? When you look up and see clarity, lightness, peace, dare to ask, is this light coming from above, or has something been lifted within me? What you call external may be nothing more than an echo of your internal landscape. And in the coming days, as the sky prepares to shift, visibly, spiritually, symbolically, know this: the shift is not beginning in the cloud, it is beginning in you. The divine does not change the sky until the inner world is ready. A divine shift is never accidental, it is always earned. This is not a poetic metaphor, it is a spiritual law. Everything that exists on the outside is connected to what is unfolding within. The sky simply reveals what your soul is too afraid to acknowledge. It shows you your alignment or your misalignment. It displays your chaos, your confusion, your clarity. It reflects your willingness to grow, to surrender, to purify. And when you see the sky change, when you feel something different in the air, when your bones vibrate with a strange sense of knowing, when your breath slows as if the atmosphere itself has shifted, do not look around for an explanation. Look within. The sky has no interest in impressing you. It is trying to wake you. People chase signs. They wait for lightning. They seek omens. They wait for the sky to speak in some grand way. But the awakened one knows the sky is always speaking. The real question is, are you silent enough to listen? Are you still enough to feel it? Are you humble enough to understand that the signs were never separate from you? That your life is not disconnected from the universe, but deeply intertwined with it? A storm is not just a change in weather. It is often a reflection of turmoil, of energy building, of truths resisting suppression. A sudden sunrise is not just an aesthetic moment. It is an announcement. Begin again. Light has returned. But most are too consumed to hear these declarations, too distracted, too hardened by the noise of the world to perceive the language of the divine, the language of the sky. And so the sky continues to mirror us, silently, consistently, without praise or protest, until the day we decide to awaken. And that day may be tomorrow. Tomorrow the sky will change. That is not a poetic forecast. It is a spiritual event. Something is shifting. But remember, it does not begin in the clouds. It begins in consciousness. If you are waiting for the sky to give you permission to grow, you have misunderstood everything. The sky is not here to lead you, it is here to reflect you. So if you desire a divine shift in the heavens, then there must first be a sacred shift in your attention, your intention, your discipline. You cannot rise with the divine while your mind is sunk in doubt. You cannot witness a celestial transformation while your heart remains chained to yesterday's pain. You cannot receive clarity from the cosmos if you still feed chaos in your thoughts. The mirror will not lie for you. The sky will not flatter you. It shows you the truth you carry, without judgment, without distortion. This is why spiritual warriors train in silence. This is why monks sit under the open sky, not to escape the world, but to reflect with it, because they understand The path to higher awareness is not built by changing the world, it is built by changing the one who watches it. Your perceptions shape your reality, your state of being determines what you are shown. And so the sky is different for each person, not because the sky itself changes, but because the one who observes it does. For the restless, the sky brings agitation. For the still, the same sky brings serenity. For the seeker, the sky is a symbol. For the sleeper, the sky is just background. And so, you must ask yourself before tomorrow comes, what kind of sky am I creating through the way I live, breathe, think, and feel? People say, the world is falling apart, but is it the world that is breaking, or is it that your perception is clouded? They say, the storm is coming, but is the storm a threat, or is it a call to purify, a divine invitation to cleanse what no longer serves your spirit? The one who is aligned with truth sees every shift in the sky as guidance. They are not afraid of the thunder. They are not shaken by darkness. They share Monteke. They do not worship the light, nor curse the night. They observe all of it as a mirror. When the clouds form, ask, what in me is unresolved? When the wind howls, ask, what truths have I suppressed that now scream for expression? When the air becomes still, ask, have I finally reached inner peace, or have I gone numb to the lessons? Most people never ask. Most people look at the sky and scroll. They look at the sunset and take a photo, but not a breath. They witness beauty but miss its meaning, because they are looking outward with no anchor inward. And when the divine speaks in symbols, in wind, in flame, in falling rain, they remain asleep. They see motion but not message. They feel weather but not wisdom. They miss the divine not because it is hidden, but because they refuse to become still. The divine is not in the future, it is not waiting in some other place, it is always here, always now, always encoded in the moment. But the only way to see it is to shift your frequency, to align, to clear the fog from your perception. The sky cannot give you what your mind is unwilling to see. The universe does not operate by your desires. It responds to your discipline. It reflects your resonance. So if you want a sign, do not demand it. Create it. Through your presence, through your purity, through your preparation. Become the sign you're waiting for. And then you will see the sky has always been with you. It was never against you. It was waiting, waiting for the day you would recognize yourself in its reflection. The sign has always been with you. It was never against you. It was never. Shayush Leyu. Leyush. Leyush Desrata. Jatsana. Shatana. Leyush. Usteta. Lusanya. What does it mean for the sky to change tomorrow? It means something is culminating. Something invisible is becoming visible. Something within is about to rise so powerfully the heavens themselves respond. But only those who have tuned themselves will understand what it means. Others will see weather. The few will see a message. The many will keep scrolling. The few will fall into silence and listen. The shift is coming, but if you are not already becoming who you were meant to be, you will miss it. Because this is not about watching the sky. It is about aligning with what the sky reveals. Your anger, your peace, your chaos, your clarity. It's all there, not in the clouds, but in the lens through which you see them. Train your lens. Purify your perception. Don't just wait for tomorrow. Prepare for it. Not with fear, but with reverence. Not with panic, but with presence. And when the sky changes, you won't be surprised. you'll be ready, because something will have already shifted inside you. And you will finally understand what the ancient ones knew, that the sky was never separate. It was your own soul, painted in light and shadow, weather and wonder, watching you, teaching you, guiding you. And when you change, it changes. When you align, it opens. When you awaken, it welcomes you back. So tonight, before the sky changes, close your eyes, sit in silence, breathe with reverence, and ask, what does the sky see when it looks into me? Then open your eyes, because tomorrow the mirror will return, and what it reflects is up to you. Discipline is not a popular word. In fact, in a world that glorifies comfort, ease, and instant gratification, discipline is often viewed as restriction, as a burden, as something we should do but would rather avoid. And yet, if there is one principle that separates the lost from the awakened, the chaotic from the clear, the stagnant from the ascended, it is discipline. Not the discipline that punishes, but the discipline that aligns. Not the discipline that comes from outside, but the sacred discipline that is born from the understanding that without mastery over the self, one cannot walk with the divine. There is no divine shift without human preparation. The sky does not open for the undisciplined. The heavens do not align for those who live in disorder. The universe speaks to those who are tuned, and tuning requires training, inner training, invisible refinement. Discipline is not about what others see, it's about what you carry silently when no one is watching. It's about the agreements you make with yourself, your integrity, your commitment to stillness, to presence, to growth. Especially when no one else holds you accountable. People wait for miracles. They pray for transformation. They ask the universe for power, for protection, for guidance. And yet they forget that the divine does not respond to wishes. It responds to readiness. The same way fire will not bless a damp branch with light, the divine will not descend upon a soul that is undisciplined, fragmented, or distracted. The divine shift you feel approaching, it is not coming to entertain you, it is coming to see who has prepared themselves to hold it. Ask yourself, what am I doing daily to prepare my vessel for divine energy? What do I practice, not when I feel inspired, but when I feel nothing? When the body is tired and the mind is loud, what do I still do? Because that is the measure of your discipline, and that is what the universe responds to, not your words, not your emotions, not your fears, but your daily effort to align. A divine shift is a sacred transmission. It is a frequency too precise to land in a chaotic field. It arrives where there is stillness, strength, and structure. That is what discipline gives you. A structure strong enough to hold the sacred. Without discipline, spiritual experiences become fleeting highs. Without discipline, knowledge becomes information without transformation. Without discipline, even truth becomes heavy, because you are not ready to embody it. Discipline is the bridge between knowing and becoming. It is the path between theory and embodiment. It is what takes an idea from the mind and plants it into the bones. You may understand a concept intellectually, but unless your body has trained to carry it, it will not take root. The universe knows this, and that is why it waits. It does not reward speed or passion or emotion. It rewards readiness, true readiness, disciplined readiness. Consider nature. The tree does not bear fruit just because you hope for it. It bears fruit because the soil was tilled, the seed was planted, the roots were nourished, and time was honored. Every day, invisible work. Every day, unseen growth. Until suddenly, one day, the fruit appears, and the world says it happened overnight. But the disciplined one knows it took everything in silence, without applause. Your spiritual shift is the same. The moment you are waiting for, the breakthrough, the guidance, the clarity, it will not arrive because you begged for it. It will arrive because you have quietly been building the structure within. Meditation when it's boring. training when you're tired, silence when the mind wants to shout. These are not punishments, they are preparations. They tell the divine, I am ready to hold what you want to give. The one who walks the path does not wait for motivation, they create it through movement. They understand that the ego will always resist what purifies it. Discipline is the fire that burns illusion. That's why it's uncomfortable. That's why so few commit to it. Because discipline asks you to let go of who you think you are, to become who you truly are. It breaks the habits that comfort the small self. It tears through stories that protect mediocrity. It challenges identity, addiction, distraction. But through that fire, the real self is forged. You cannot enter a divine space with worldly dust on your feet. You cannot rise into a higher reality while clinging to lower impulses. That's why discipline is sacred. It is a daily cleansing, a sharpening, a remembering. It keeps you clear, ready, present. The moment of spiritual shift could come at any time, but only the disciplined will recognize it. Imagine a bell that only rings once every 100 years. A bell so quiet it can only be heard in total stillness. Would you spend your life preparing your ears to hear it, or would you live in noise, hoping to catch it accidentally? The divine is like that bell. And discipline is the quieting of your inner world, so that, when it rings, you do not miss it. People look for signs, yet ignore the work required to interpret them. They ask for guidance, yet avoid the stillness needed to receive it. They admire those who walk with power, but do not want the solitude, the structure, the repetition, the discipline it takes to reach that place. But the laws of spirit cannot be bypassed. You do not stumble into enlightenment, you earn it. Through the way you rise, the way you breathe, the way you train your attention again and again, until presence becomes your natural state. Every morning is a test. Will you rise before the world wakes, not because someone told you to, but because your soul remembers its mission? Every night is a ritual. Will you close the day with clarity or collapse into distraction? Every breath is a choice. Will you use it to rush, to react, or to return to yourself? The sky will change tomorrow, but the question is not whether the sky will shift. The question is whether you have built the inner ground to receive what that shift brings. Will you be rooted when the winds rise? Will you be still when the energy intensifies? Will you be aligned when clarity descends? Only the disciplined will know. Discipline is often misunderstood as control, but it is not about suppression, it is about refinement. It does not close you, it opens you. It does not limit your freedom, it reveals your freedom. Because freedom is not the ability to do what you want. It is the power to choose what serves your highest self, again and again, without excuse. And that choice is only possible through discipline. There will be moments when your emotions rebel, when the body aches, when your thoughts scream for escape, and it is precisely in those moments that your discipline is tested. Anyone can be spiritual in silence and sunshine, but who are you when nothing feels easy, when everything inside you wants to quit? That is when the warrior is born. That is when the shift chooses you. The divine does not come in lightning and thunder for the undisciplined. It comes like a whisper to those who have trained their breath to match the silence. It does not arrive to rescue, it arrives to reward. And the reward is not comfort, it is capacity. The ability to carry more, see more, serve more, understand more. Not because you are special, but because you prepared. This is the truth that cannot be sold, cannot be faked, cannot be performed. Your discipline is your spiritual readiness. It is not glamorous. It will not get you applause, but it will earn you something far greater. Alignment with the unfolding truth of your life. So tonight, as the world moves fast, Slow yourself down. As others seek entertainment, seek silence. As the mind jumps from thought to thought, return to breath. Not because it feels good, but because it builds the inner muscle required to walk with the divine. And tomorrow when the sky shifts, don't look up expecting something to happen to you. Look within and ask, have I built the discipline to understand what is already happening through me? Because the divine shift is not a show. It is a sacred invitation, and only those who have prepared will have the clarity to accept it. So rise early, move with intention, breathe with reverence, speak with purpose, rest with presence. This is how you build the capacity to carry light, not all at once, but daily, quietly, patiently, and when the moment comes, you won't need to be told, you'll already know. You will not be surprised by the change in the sky. You will feel it coming like an old friend, because you and the sky have been preparing for this moment together. And when it arrives, you will not react, you will respond. With silence, with strength, with stillness, because you trained for this, because you were never waiting for the divine to appear. The divine was always waiting for you to become disciplined enough to receive it. There is a sacred order to all things. Though the eyes may not always see it, though the heart may sometimes doubt it, the truth remains unshaken. The heavens do not move in chaos. The skies never shift by accident. When the heavens stir, when something vast, invisible and incomprehensible begins to tremble above us, it is not without purpose. It is a signal. It is a call. It is the breath of the universe, inhaling before a new cycle begins. But too often, the world sees such signs and shrugs. The sky changes color and we take pictures. The stars align and we post about it. We feel something strange in the air and we distract ourselves. But those who are awake, those who are disciplined and listening, they do not ignore it. They do not scroll past the sacred. They understand that when the heavens move, the earth must respond. This is not a poetic idea. It is a law of the higher world. There is no shift above that does not demand a shift below. The skies are not ornamental. They are functional. They are the first expression of divine energy before it crystallizes into matter. Before anything changes in your reality, it changes in the unseen. The frequency shifts first. The spirit stirs first. The heavens adjust first. And if you do not move with them, you will fall out of sync with your own destiny. If you do not move with them, you will fall out of sync with your own destiny. How many times has the universe whispered, only for you to stay silent? How many signs have passed overhead while your eyes were on the ground? How many sacred moments have brushed against your soul while you were too busy to feel? The truth is, we are not waiting for divine movement. It is always occurring. We are waiting for human response. Response is not reaction. Reaction is impulsive. Reaction is loud. Reaction is the ego trying to catch up with what the soul already knows. But response, that is sacred. Response is conscious. It is grounded. It is still. It is the act of tuning yourself to the frequency of change, not resisting it. It is saying to the universe, I feel you. I see the movement. I align. But how can the earth respond if we do not first return to being rooted? The ancient ones understood this. They did not separate the sky from the soil. They saw no division between the divine and the dust. That is why their temples were aligned with the stars. That is why their rituals followed the moon. That is why their feet were bare, to feel the earth's pulse, to hear its reply. And now, here you are, living at a moment when the sky is about to shift again. Can you feel it? That subtle trembling in the wind, that strange awareness in your chest, that unspoken knowing that something greater is at work. This is not imagination, it is remembrance. Your spirit remembers what your mind has forgotten. that everything above you is connected to everything within you. That when the heavens stir, the earth beneath your feet is preparing to awaken. But the earth is not an object. You are the earth. Your body is of the soil. Your breath is of the air. Your blood is of the tides. Your bones are of the mountain, and your stillness is of the void. So when the heavens move, it is not just the clouds that shift. It is your responsibility that increases. Your alignment is being tested. Your presence is being invited. Your purpose is being whispered into again. But most will feel this only as pressure. Most will feel it only as anxiety. They will say something feels heavy, but they will not pause to ask what it means. Because most are disconnected, most are asleep, but not you, not now. You feel it because you were born to respond. You are not here to merely witness the change. You are here to match it. You are not here to be entertained by divine power. You are here to awaken your own. Because when the sky shifts, it is not trying to impress you, it is trying to ignite you. This is why the path of the seeker, the monk, the disciplined soul is so vital. Without inner silence, you will misread the signs. Without stillness, you will react instead of respond. Without practice, you will forget how to listen. And the sacred cannot be heard by noise. It cannot be received by chaos. It speaks in frequency, in feeling, in energy. And only those who are attuned can hear it fully. What does it mean to respond when the heavens move? It means to remember who you are, not as a name, not as a role, but as a living bridge between earth and sky. It means to rise with reverence, to breathe with purpose, to take your place in the eternal rhythm of cause and consequence. When the heavens release new energy, that energy must go somewhere. And it goes where there is openness, where there is intention, where there is integrity. The divine does not waste light. It does not pour into containers that leak. So if the sky is shifting and you feel nothing, ask not what is happening above. Ask what is blocked below. Where have you closed yourself? Where have you fallen asleep? Where have you denied the truth that has been knocking for so long? To respond is to realign. It is to become sacred ground, to let the storm not shake you, but shape you, to let the new light not blind you, but bless you, to let the silence not scare you, but return you. This is not about mysticism. This is not about fantasy. This is about frequency. Everything is vibration. Every movement in the sky is part of a greater harmony. And your life, your choices, your habits, your mindset must begin to harmonize with it if you want peace. Otherwise, you will be in discord with the divine. And in that disharmony, you will feel lost, confused, disconnected. But you were never meant to live in discord. You were designed for union. You were created to dance with the movements of heaven, not from the outside, but from within. And that is why so many feel off in these times, because the sky is shifting and they are still standing still. The heavens are calling and they are still scrolling. The frequency has changed and they are still tuned to the old station. If you want to understand how to respond when the heavens move, then you must simplify. You must slow down. You must remember that truth is not found in speed, but in silence. The shift is not asking you to do more. It is asking you to become more conscious in what you do. To walk with awareness, to speak with honesty, to listen with humility, to move with grace. And you will know that you are responding correctly when your inner world becomes quiet, when your decisions are rooted in peace, when your actions begin to ripple outward, not with force, but with clarity. Because the heavens do not move in violence. They move with precision, with intelligence, with still power. And so must you. When the sky changes tomorrow, it is not just a celestial event. It is a cosmic mirror, a new possibility, an open gate. But it will not be open forever. The divine does not wait for hesitation. It moves according to law, and the law is simple. When energy is released, those who are ready receive. Those who are distracted miss it, and those who are misaligned are overwhelmed by it. You must ask yourself now, not later, will I be ready to receive the shift, or will I resist it? Will I open, or will I collapse? Will I harmonize, or will I hide? Because every new movement in the sky is an opportunity to become more you. Not the version the world asked you to be, but the version you were created to be before the noise began. So now is the time, not to panic, not to predict, but to prepare. Prepare your breath, prepare your heart, prepare your attention. Because when the heavens move, the earth responds. And when you respond with awareness, everything begins to realign. Doors open, paths appear, answers descend. Not because the universe suddenly favored you, but because you finally match its frequency. This is the ancient teaching. As above, so below. As within, so without. And as the sky prepares to change, so too must your spirit prepare to rise. It is a deep and uncomfortable truth, but it is one you must hear clearly. If you remain the same, you will miss everything that is meant for you. There is a shift coming, a divine one, a movement that will not knock at your door politely. It will not ask for permission. It will simply arrive. And when it does, it will not wait for you to be ready. It will move. With or without you. In this coming shift, your old patterns will not serve you. Your past versions will not be enough. And your current level of awareness, if left untouched, will become your limitation. Because every divine movement requires an equal transformation in the vessel that is meant to receive it. What is above is not meant to simply impress you. It is meant to awaken you. It is meant to elevate you. But you cannot rise while clinging to who you used to be. You must understand this. Transformation is not something you stumble upon. It is something you surrender to. It is something you consciously choose again and again, even when it hurts, even when it is lonely, even when it requires that you let go of everything you thought was essential to your identity. This is the great paradox of spiritual awakening. What you think you need, you must release. Who you think you are, you must outgrow. And the comfort you protect will slowly become the prison you live in. If you remain the same, you will not only miss the moment, you will misunderstand it. Because the shift that is coming is not physical first, it is not external, it is subtle, it is energetic. It is the kind of shift that can only be perceived by those who have emptied themselves of distraction, of rigidity, of ego. It is the kind of shift that whispers, not shouts, that nudges, not forces, that appears only to those who have trained themselves to see with the eyes of the soul. But how can one see if they refuse to change? How can you hear a higher frequency if your inner world is still tuned to noise? This is why change is not optional. It is sacred. It is demanded by the moment. You must evolve to match the level of truth that is descending. Because if you remain the same, you will interpret sacred movement through the lens of survival. You will see divine disruption as danger. You will call clarity confusion. You will call release a loss. And you will run from the very transformation you were sent here to embrace. Look closely at your life. What are you protecting that no longer serves you? What thought, what behavior, what story continues to run your mind like an invisible script? This is not a time to decorate the past. This is not a time to polish your history. This is a time to shed, to burn, to cut ties with whatever keeps you small. Because the divine shift that is coming, it is not soft, it is not casual, it is powerful. And only the empty can receive it. Only the open can carry it. And perhaps this is the hardest part. You must choose to become new without knowing exactly what you will become. You must walk away from the known, not because the unknown is comfortable, but because the known is no longer true. That takes courage, that takes discipline, that takes humility. To say, I am no longer that. I do not yet know what I am, but I am willing to become. This is the warrior's path, not one of violence, but one of radical self-honesty. One where you sit in silence long enough to see what within you is real and what is simply repetition. It's easy to look spiritual while remaining unchanged. It's easy to read books, watch videos, repeat teachings, and yet stay in the same emotional cycles, the same mental habits, the same spiritual ego. But the heavens do not respond to information. They respond to transformation. They don't move for those who speak loudly. They move for those who are willing to die to the false self so that the true self may rise. You must understand, what is coming is sacred. It is not ordinary energy. It is not meant for entertainment. It is an invitation, an alignment, a signal from the divine that the time for hesitation is over. And when that kind of frequency touches the earth, everything that is not in harmony with it will be exposed. The illusions will rise, the masks will fall, the truth will sharpen, and you will not have time to prepare later. The only time is now. If you remain the same, you will resist what was designed to free you. You will fight the wave instead of riding it. You will brace against the storm instead of being cleansed by it. But the shift does not harm those who are open. It is only painful when you resist. It is only harsh when you refuse to change, because the shift is not personal. It is principle. It is law. And if you are not in alignment with it, you will feel that misalignment as suffering. So now is the time to become light. Now is the time to drop the weight, the guilt, the blame, the identity, the pride, the story of this is just how I am. That story is not truth. It is fear in disguise. And you cannot carry fear into the future that is being prepared for you. You must instead carry presence, stillness, discipline, courage. The courage to say, I am changing. I may not know how. I may not know when. But I am done pretending that I am not meant for more. Do not wait for the heavens to shake your life before you start listening. Start now. Start with what is in front of you. The way you speak, the way you eat, the way you sit, the way you treat others, the way you breathe. All of it is practice. All of it is response. And all of it determines whether you will be ready or resistant when the moment comes. You are not small. You were never meant to live a life of repetition. You were never meant to hide behind excuses. You were built for rhythm, for power, for presence. But you must choose that daily. You must choose it even when the world tries to distract you with urgency. You must choose it even when others try to shame you back into comfort, because the shift is not a trend, it is a threshold. And on the other side of that threshold is a life so much more true than what you are settling for. If you remain the same, you will not just miss the shift, you will miss yourself, the real you, the you beneath the roles, the you beneath the pain, the you who has been waiting patiently for your permission to rise. But that rising only happens when you let go of the old. You cannot carry the past into the sacred. You cannot carry stagnation into the storm. You cannot carry denial into destiny. So breathe with me now, deeply, slowly, and ask, what must die in me so that what is true may live? What must be released so that I may become a match for what is to come? This is not a dramatic question, it is a necessary one. And if you do not ask it, life will ask it for you. The sky will change tomorrow, not metaphorically, energetically, spiritually, actually. And in that change you will be called, not by noise, but by knowing. And if you are the same as you were yesterday, you will not hear it. Or worse, you will hear it but doubt yourself. You will hear it but postpone. You will hear it, but stay still. But that is not your path. Your path is response. Your path is courage. Your path is transformation. The silence you keep the discipline you practice, the words you refuse to speak because they are not aligned, the choices you make when no one is watching, these are the seeds of your next reality. And when the sky opens, it will water those seeds, not because you're lucky, but because you were ready. So look at yourself honestly now, not with judgment, but with sincerity. And if you sense that who you are now is too small for what is coming, then let go. If the voice in your head says, I can't change, know that it is lying. You already are changing. The breath you just took made you new. The silence you just honored gave you access to wisdom. The awareness you hold now is different from what it was 1 minute ago. Change is not an event. It is a decision, sustained. It is devotion in motion. You were not sent here to be entertained by the divine. You were sent here to embody it, to rise with it, to reflect it. And that cannot happen if you cling to the old version of you. That version was beautiful for the chapter you just finished. But now the chapter is ending, and the new one does not recognize your old limitations. So choose now to evolve, to rise, to respond, and to remember that this shift is not outside of you. It is not somewhere up there. It is within you. It is awakening through you. And you will either be a vessel for it or a bystander to it. But you cannot do both.